Cruise news time. Well, look, the hits keep rolling. We've got another major cruise line talking about returning to maskless cruising. We've got another sad chapter in the story of Crystal Cruises. And then there's a lot of positive cruise news, a lot of really exciting cruise news. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to February the 9th, 2022. And my cruise countdown is only sitting at like 2 days before I go on almost a month-long odyssey of cruising, as it were. None of it will be on the Odyssey, but yeah, just a couple days, I'll be boarding the Sky Princess for a group cruise with about 40 or 50 of the Loca fam. Can't wait to see some old friends, to meet some new friends, and to have a blast on one of Princess's newest cruise ships, a couple years old Sky Princess. And then immediately off the Sky Princess, we made the announcement on the live show last night. We'll be going from the debarkation terminal of Princess to the embarkation terminal of Celebrity right there in Fort Lauderdale. A little side-by-side. We've never done a back-to-back or a side-by-side, so a little side-by-side action on the Celebrity Apex, and then we come home for a few days, and then we head over to Port Canaveral and get on the Wonder of the Seas. I'm excited to show you some of these cruise ships, and of course I'm excited to share with you the cruise news. So let's get into the cruise news. Let's talk about first Crystal Cruises, and again, another sad story for Crystal Cruises. Today's the date. They're shuttering. That's the word I was looking for. They're shuttering the offices in the U.S. All shoreside employees are now jobless, and the management of the existing cruise ships will be moved over to a company called VDOT Ships. It is a management company that's been appointed by the banks to take care of the ships while they figure out what to do with them. It seems likely that the ships will be sold off individually, not really as a brand, to pay off creditors. And so it's a challenge. We have a couple of the cruise ships that are currently under arrest in the Bahamas, the Crystal Symphony, the Crystal Serenity. There's a company that's looking to get paid for their fuel bills. And so, yeah, it's the story continues to not get much better. All this on the heels of the parent company Genting running out of money at the end of January, and Crystal not being able to survive that downturn. It certainly is a beloved cruise brand, and for many people, this is really not great news at all. It would be cool if the brand could survive this downturn, but right now it's not looking good. So that's a bummer. Cruise news story number 2, also a bummer. I'm trying to get the bad news out of the way first. Royal Caribbean has decided to cancel the rest of the season in Hong Kong for Spectrum of the Seas. That only really means some cruises in February and in March. Those are the only ones that they have planned out. They're citing the continued uncertainty of cruising in Hong Kong, as the government there has decided to keep cruising shut down in the short term as they're dealing with the latest wave of the virus. Royal Caribbean deciding that they are not going to continue to play the 2-week at a time game. They're just going to cancel all of their cruises in Hong Kong and possibly do something else with the Spectrum of the Seas. So that's a bummer for anybody that's cruising in Hong Kong, but at least it frees up the asset there of Spectrum of the Seas that Royal can put in play somewhere else and maybe make some profit off of it. I understand that from a business perspective. So there you go. That's also sad. And that takes us to a third sad story. Cruising still continues to be shut down in Australia as other forms of travel open up. Our friend Ian of the YouTube channel Uber Cruisers sent me a message this morning. There is going to be a Lift the Cruise Ban rally. This is going to be a place for travel professionals, cruise fans to gather together for a little bit of peaceful protest about the cruise ban that continues on in Australia. I know most of us won't be able to attend that, but I do want to put that date out there so you can have a positive thought for those people that are fighting for their industry there in Australia. Saturday, March the 12th. It's, I see it in the comments all the time and I feel bad. Like, well, at least you're cruising. And that's a fair sentiment. I can understand the frustration from people in the land of Oz not being able to cruise right now. And so just know that we're with you. I don't know what we can do other than continue to add voice to it, but hopefully as international travel opens up for you guys there in Australia, maybe somebody will have the light bulb moment that cruising could happen also. My speculation is there's still a lot of memory of the Ruby Princess and the whole aftermath of Ruby Princess. Whose fault was it? Was it the government's fault? Was it the cruise line's fault? Was it local officials' fault? I bet you a lot of that is still playing in the minds of people making decisions there. And unfortunately, nobody's recognizing that this is a different time, that it's time to take a fresh look at cruising, and hopefully somebody will over there. But yeah, Australia, we're with you. Hopefully you can start cruising soon. All right, now let's swing over to some more positive cruise news. First and foremost, let's talk about Disney Cruise Line. Disney Cruise Line has reopened the bookings for the new cruise ship, the Disney Wish. You may remember that because of challenges with the shipyard, they had to delay the original sailings of the Disney Wish. 12 sailings were knocked out in that announcement, and they shut down the bookings at the same time. You could not book a future Disney Wish cruise. Well, now they're through that period of time, and you can book a future Disney Wish cruise. It's exciting because the Wish promises to be one of the most technologically advanced cruise ships, especially in the Disney family, offering a lot of new experiences and a lot of new fun for Disney cruisers. Quick question for the comments. Are you booked on the Disney Wish? Are you excited? Leave a comment below. Now we got to get into Royal Caribbean's Valentine's Day gift for maskless cruising and some really other positive cruise news. But first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. A big welcome to everybody that's joined the Loca fam over the last few weeks. Much appreciated. Much love to the Loca fam. Glad to have you here. Why don't you guys come join us? If you're not, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on, and then you're in the club. How about that? All right, are you ready for a big dose of positivity? Well, here we go. The first story I'm going to hit you in the face with: Royal Caribbean looking forward to their Alaska season and believing that they will cruise at 100% occupancy. They believe that they will sell out their Alaska cruise ships. Based on their bookings and based on the data they accumulated from the 2021 Alaska season, they believe that cruisers are excited to go to Alaska, and they are excited to go on Royal Caribbean cruise ships. They believe that they will have no problem selling out these cruise ships, and this will be a big moment for Royal Caribbean if they get back to full capacity, especially on these Alaska cruises. It will not only be great for those people taking those cruises, but will also be great for Royal Caribbean as a company. And let me quickly just say a word about capacity. I didn't mention it much, but on my Disney cruise, we had 1,100 passengers. That was about 50% capacity of the Disney Magic. But what was even more telling is that we heard from crew members that the previous week they had about 750 passengers, and the week before that somewhere around 550 passengers. So a week over week incremental move to a greater capacity. That's fantastic when it comes to cruising. That's a good indication that we are coming off of this Omicron slump and that we're moving back into a pre-Omicron type demand. And look, that's not just me saying it. In a recent earnings call, the new CEO of the Royal Caribbean Group, Jason Liberty, said almost exactly the same thing. Let me share a couple quotes from Jason Liberty from that earnings call and see if this doesn't get you excited about cruising. First and foremost, he sets the stage. He talks a little bit about how Royal Caribbean put customer safety in front of profitability. This is what he said: "Since we resumed operations, our goal has been to make cruising one of the safest vacations anywhere in the world while providing an exceptional guest experience. We continue to demonstrate that in a very tangible way." He goes on to talk about COVID on board the cruise ships during the restart. He said, "We have carried approximately 1.3 million guests since the restart, with about 2,500 guests testing positive for COVID-19, a positivity rate of 0.19%. The positivity rate is still a small fraction of what it is in society at large, and nearly all cases on board were asymptomatic or had mild symptoms." That's been a big key for COVID on cruise ships during the restart. It hasn't resulted in a lot of severe COVID. It hasn't resulted in a lot of hospitalizations. And really that lack of severe COVID is what's allowed cruising to continue to go forward down the path of restart. He goes on to contextualize the dip in demand because of Omicron and talks about where they're going, saying, "As everyone is aware, the Omicron variant has impacted most parts of society as well as our operations. Since mid-December, we have experienced an increase in the number of people testing positive for COVID on board our ships. The good news is that in the last several weeks, cases on board our ships have been declining rapidly, and now we have returned to exceptionally low pre-Omicron levels." That's fantastic. That's the best news right there, is data coming off of the cruise ships that mimic what we have heard. Things are going well. Omicron hit. cases went up, we start to see Omicron cases go down, and now on the cruise ships, we're also seeing week after week decline in cases to pre-Omicron levels. This will open the door for broader cruising, and I do believe that's why we're starting to see some cruise lines relax their health protocols. I told you yesterday afternoon about Norwegian Cruise Line beginning in March, making masks at the discretion of the customers, completely a recommendation and not mandatory. And also yesterday, Royal Caribbean changed their masking policy to make it look very similar to what it looked like pre-Omicron. It's exciting. Starting on Valentine's Day, cruisers that are on Royal Caribbean ships that are vaccinated will be able to go mask-free in vaccinated-only areas. And that's a significant amount of the cruise ship. The casino, for example, will be mask-free because you have to be vaccinated to use the casino on Royal Caribbean ships. There will be times in the main theater where there's vaccinated-only seating areas with vaccinated-only shows. You will be able to go mask-free. And of course, in the bars and the restaurants, you will be able to go mask-free when you're not eating or consuming any kind of beverage. And so, yeah, this is going to open up a lot of mask-free cruising on Royal Caribbean. And this is encouraging because it shows a willingness of the cruise lines to adjust their policies based on the data. The data that they're working off of right now is that cases are dropping to pre-Omicron levels, and so they are relaxing their protocols. I don't think it's going to stop with Royal Caribbean. It's going to be an exciting next few weeks as these cruise companies believe that they can cruise safely while relaxing the protocols, much of like what they did prior to Omicron. And look, the reality still remains the same for all of us. If you're going to go cruising right now, you have to assess the risk. You have to know what your risk profile is, and you have to decide whether it's the time for you to cruise or not. I'm going to continue to assign some of my trust to the cruise lines. I continue to believe that they are not profitable if they put customers in harm's way. And so I'm following these policies closely. And I believe if they're saying you can cruise without a mask, that they have good data behind it to suggest that that's a safe thing to do. So again, that's part of how I make my decision. I'm not saying that's the way everybody should make their decision, but just to give you some insight how I feel about it. Boom! That's your cruise news. I would love to hear what you think about it, any and all of it. Are you excited about Royal dropping the mask? Are you ready to go back to a Royal casino and throw hot dice maskless? I know I am. I'm not on a Royal ship until March, but I'm excited. Happy Valentine's Day from Royal Caribbean. Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. You can show that you enjoyed it by hitting the like button, and unfortunately, if you do not hit the like button, I'll be forced to punish you, and your punishment is this. You're going to have to give everybody who did hit the like button one of those little Valentines. You remember the Valentines you used to take to school, and everybody took a shoebox and made their own Valentine's Day box, and then you dropped it in there, and then you always hoped that the girl or the boy that liked you the most would give you one of your Valentines. Hit the like button, or however many people like this video, you're going to have to make little Valentine Day cards for. Do you want to do that? Maybe you do. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.